Good afternoon and welcome to the June 21st meeting of the Planning Commission of the City of Glendale. Can I have the roll call, please?
Planning Commissioners Astorian. Here. Landrigan. Lee. Manukian.
Present.
Shahbazia.
Here.
Thank you. May I have a report regarding the posting of the agenda?
The agenda for this meeting was posted on Wednesday, June 14th, 2017 on the bulletin board outside City Hall and on the city's website.
Very good. Thank you very much. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next agenda item is the approval of our April 19th and June 7th minutes.
I can move the June 7th. I was not here.
And for April 19th.
Okay, but nevertheless, we will still have two members of the commission for each of those. So we will put this over for the next regular meeting.
Okay.
Moving on to oral communications, which are limited to items not on this agenda. We do not have any pink cards relating to any, so we will move on to item number 6, zoning appeals, of which we have none. We will move forward to planning commission items. Old business, 1203 and 1209 Glenwood Road and 1308 Bruce Avenue. I understand then there's something you have to tell us about this?
Yes, we have a request that this item be continued to August 16th, 2017. We do not have a quorum for this item until that time, so that's why we're asking that the commission move it to that date.
That's fine. Moving on to new business. Location is 532 to 536 West Elk Avenue. Tentative track map number 74370. May I have a staff report, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. The proposal is to request a subdivision of a new multifamily residential development, which consists of 6 condominium dwelling units in the R2250 zone. Just to go into detail about the site, it's rectangular and it's relatively flat. The size is approximately 12,000 square feet. It's located mid-block of West Elk, and the width of the lot is approximately 100 linear feet wide. The site is developed with a 2-story, 3-story, 6-unit multifamily development with 16-space subterranean parking garage. The project is currently in construction right now. While it's almost complete, the permit status is issued and it's waiting final. The zoning of this property in the general plan designation is R2250 and a medium density residential land use designation for its general plan. The surrounding uses of the property to the south, east, and west are single-family dwellings, and to the north is a multifamily dwelling. I think it's called the Brio. Under CEQA, this is exempt under Class 3 new construction, as it is located in an urban area with no more than 6 units. This project consists of 6 condominium units. Quickly to go over analysis, the subject multifamily dwelling meets all zoning standards in terms of density, building height, parking, landscaping, and FAR. And to quickly go over the general plan element and its consistency, this complies with the density under the land use element, which has 6 units as part of this project. In ratio, it would be 21 units per acre. As far as the circulation element, West Elk Avenue is classified as a local street, and the right-of-way width is 52 feet wide. As far as the noise element, the project site is located in an ambient noise area, contour area of 65 to 70 CNEL, which on-site acoustical characteristics are suitable for residential dwellings. The project contributes to goals 1 and 3 of the housing element, which is to provide a range of housing types that meets the needs of current and future needs, and also increases opportunity for home ownership. The property and the site is ineligible for listing for historic preservation, and it's not a historical resource. The property is not located in a hazard area identifying the safety element, and it's also not in a open space or it's not in a designated open space area. The project is located in the recreational area number 7 of the recreation element, and although this area is deficient is deficient in park area during the permit building application, they do pay their park fees. So it's just noted in this area for the recreation. Just like much of the city, it's in the park deficient area. But overall, it's recommended by the planning staff that this tentative tract map be approved as its compliance to the Subdivisions Map Act and Chapter 1632 and 1616 of the Glendale Municipal Code, and by the provided findings, facts, and conditions. This concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available for any comments or questions.
I have one question. Given that we don't have the applicant here, the motion before us consists of some 31 conditions.
This is the applicant, yes.
I see, okay. All right, then let's, would you like to address the commission?
Yeah, I'm here on behalf of...
Could you please speak into the microphone?
Please identify yourself.
my name is Jason Sim. I'm the contractor and the super for the project, and representing the applicant, the owner, the Yuhan Investment.
All right, okay. Do you have a presentation or
No,
prepared
actually,
remarks? I had a question from the staff that I will direct to you. The conditions that accompany the motions that we have before us
Yes.
consist of 31 items. Have you reviewed these?
No, I haven't.
Okay, given that, did you have notice of this hearing?
No. I know about this hearing, but I haven't any what the
Okay, all right,
questions are.
okay. In that case, do the commissioners have any questions from the applicant's
What
representative?
stage of construction are you in right now?
We're almost 80% done of completing the building. So we're at the finish stage, and the outside, the street improvements, it's kicking in right now. So
Nice, very good. All right, then I suppose, unless we have any questions from the staff or any further questions from the applicant's representatives, I'm willing to entertain a motion. Oh, wait, I'm not. Thank you very much, sir. We have another interested party.
You can have a seat.
Ms. Ellen Merguea? More or less.
I'm the neighbor to the property.
Yes.
Last few years I've had several buildings go up around me, and I was astounded by how cooperative the builders have been, and I really do appreciate that. If anything, one of my tenants and my neighbors have caused him problems by stupidly parking across his driveway and holding up his trucks. But that's another story. I have no complaints about the building, except for the wall that goes between my property and their property. It's a short wall, and I would like a bigger wall. I'd like a taller wall. I have what my family laughingly calls a solar-powered clothes dryer, which breaks down to clotheslines. And just for a little privacy, I would like the wall to be a little higher. Well, to be truthful, a lot higher, to and to give me give me and my tenants some privacy. Jason has talked about the wall going in and then the wrought iron fence. I like walls. I think they make excellent neighbors of one another. You keep your junk on your side, and I keep my junk on my side. The only complaint, I don't really have a complaint about the builder. My only complaint about my neighborhood is that there seems to be a lack of pickup of abandoned furniture. I have a tree across the street from me that has sprouted chairs, tables, sofas, grocery baskets, headboards, and I've called the city several times, and they still are there, and I wish they would go away. So, but my only thing would be is the higher wall.
Okay.
The only problem I've ever had with Jason and his crew is when they dug up everything, all the weeds from that property decided to move into my property, and I'm now pulling out having more weeds than normal. But he can't deal. I can't expect him to deal with my weeds.
Very good. All right. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Stubler, what is the as far as code is concerned, what's the maximum height of a wall that we allow?
What?
So the question is, what is the maximum allowable wall height in the city of Glendale?
I'm going to refer that to the case planner.
For walls that act as barriers between properties along the property line, there is no real, the code is kind of silent on there, but we use the design standards as far as what's compatible, what's up and down the neighborhood. And also we defer over to the building safety about engineering as well, because different property has different topographies, and it may not be compatible for certain sites. But this one's relatively flat, but we just kind of review it from a design standpoint as well.
Well, this obviously has gone through the design review board. That's why it's being built as we speak.
That's correct.
What was the allowable wall height that the design reviewer on this project with the neighboring property?
I can grab the case file and take a look at that
If you would.
Time.
If
Yes.
you would.
Sure.
Because the idea that we must adhere to the design, and let's not forget that prior to this, there was on this property there was a single family house or a duplex in that manner. So it's a different story when you got 36 feet height versus 10 or 12 feet height. And I don't mean to impede or impugn what the design review board has done. If this concern was apparent at that time, it should have been addressed. I'd like to know what that wall height is, because this really doesn't have to do anything with the construction of the units. This is a separating wall, and if it can be addressed to assuage some of her problems, I'd like to be able to see if I can do that or not.
Sure.
Excuse me, could you tell us what the height of the wall separating your project?
Sure. Yeah. Usually, my experience is 6 feet is the max, but we're at a little over 6 feet. But the top concrete floor is with the planter box. That's at 48 inch above. Forgot her name.
Your neighbor.
Yeah, our neighbors, the ground. But on top of that, we have another 42-inch metal raw iron fence.
So the planter, 48-inch planter boxes sit to the west of the
Yes.
the railing.
Yeah, on top of it. The railing is going to be top.
And how tall of a separation of tree or shrubs is thought of about?
Well, we have approximately about 30-inch to 36-inch planter box That's gonna we have shrubs in between, but from her point on her side, if you look at it, the 48 inches of planter box. On top of it, we have 42 inches of the Ryan. Yeah. She's concern is because it's a see-through, and there's no privacy for that, so she's concerned about that. So we'll try to change it, but when we're trying to go through design review, everything takes about 3 months at minimum. So we try to hold up on that. So she was concerned.
So basically, it's your deck that is.
Yeah, our deck is sitting above.
That's okay.
Above
So it's not a separate wall. It's the deck really that becomes the wall, and then on top of that you have the railing. Behind the railing, towards on your property, you have 42-inch boxes, planter boxes.
In size, yeah.
What can you plant on those 42-inch planter boxes?
Well, we have.
How tall would they get?
The shrubs.
Yes.
That I don't have, unless we change it to trees, smaller size trees, then it could go over more than that and try to cover the privacies. But as of right now, we only have small 24-inch shrubs. Hopefully that covers, but I don't think that's going to help her.
You mean 24-inch tall shrubs that you're going to plant in the 42-inch box? Is that what you're saying?
Right. But there's about 30.
This is 24-inch.
Yes.
Right.
About 24. Yes.
No, that's
24 inches. We go by this way and this way.
Okay.
So that goes inside our planter box.
that's 24.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Can staff just clarify with the lady from the public that which affected elevation is she to the property? So is she east or west or south of the property? So I can get an idea the design of the building and what's the affected elevation.
East side of the building.
Microphone.
Can you approach the podium, please?
When you ask me east, west, north, or south, I'm lost. The property is to the left of me if I'm looking out onto the street.
So if you're facing the project and you're at the street, you're facing. You're to the
If
left.
I'm standing on my property, looking out onto West Elk Avenue, it is over on my left-hand
Okay.
side.
Okay.
The property to my right-hand side has a wall that is almost as tall as I am. Where Jason's wall, I feel, is a lot lower, and I do not understand decking and things like that. I just don't understand it. And my request would be for a taller wall.
You're in between the apartment and this building, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're sandwiched between. You have a taller
I live
apartment.
at 526. I own 528 and 528 and a half. It's all on one chunk of land. And
So she's here.
Is the trash bin right now facing you?
it's across the street from me. It's across.
It can't be across
from
the street.
524. There's a tree who needs trimming,
Make it.
and all the leftover furniture.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question. Were you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to concentrate on your thought. That's part of the design review anyways. It's been approved. There are planters. Now I understand what they're explaining. And I believe that by the time those shrubs grow, it will give a certain relief as far as privacy is concerned. I don't know if there is anything else that can be imposed as part of conditions for your subdivision tract, for example, changing the planters to larger planters and that kind of stuff. Can it be or cannot be? If it can't be, then we have to basically go by what design review has approved.
Members of the Planning Commission, it is my opinion that whatever is construction related that appeared on the plans that has received inspection approval, they are vested as far as that part of it. Now, whether we can ask them to voluntarily, we can certainly ask them to voluntarily modify some of the non-construction elements, such as the planters.
The only other thing I would add is that there is no requirement that you approve a subdivision. I mean, he has an apartment. That's what it's permitted as. That's what he's constructing.
It's discretionary.
It's discretionary. So you do have authority if you want to ask him to make a change. But if you do put a change on it as a condition of approval, he will not be able to record a map unless he actually makes that change. So you have two different things going on. You have a building permit. He has every right to build out the building permit as an apartment. What you're being asked for is a subdivision. So voluntarily, he could make a change if he wants a subdivision, if you're inclined to make a change to the building. But it would be a condition of approval on the subdivision, not a condition of approval for the building.
Yeah, and that's not what we're interested in. Mr. Chair, if I may just follow up. I don't believe that it's an unreasonable request to have the size of the plants increased if your planters would allow them, in order to give some relief to your neighbor. I mean, that's just being good neighbors. So is that something that you would do? Okay, I need you to speak into the microphone.
Yes, we'll try to help her, meet her request. We try to do that. Came in here to revise the plan, but it was just taking too long for me to get the approval. But anyway, yes, we can. We're about to change the fence type because even right now, towards the rear of the raw iron, we have what's called oblique panel, which is like frosted, so you can't see through it. That's about 1/3 is already planted, but towards the front side is just a raw irons. So that's she's concerned because it's a see-through. We're trying to change that one to a solid panels. In that way, we have just in case that shrub doesn't cover the privacy.
But you don't have to go back to design review to do that, do you?
I don't have.
Because that's not what my intentions are.
Right. I wish I don't, but I think any changes to outside, we need to go through a design review.
Right.
That's my.
Other than plants, I mean, that's the part that has non-construction related, that can give some relief to your neighbor. And as far as that is concerned, if you promise that you're going to do that, in order to be able to give her some view, privacy, and respect her, I mean, I'll be okay with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Totally. So, all right.
Just to clarify, what would be the process if the builder decides to put opaque paneling towards the front of the property?
That would be a plan amendment to the building permit. So it would just be a change on the elevation that shows the affected side. So instead of showing a wrought iron, the railing would now be of proposed what type of opaque material he's providing.
Would that require any other body or commission's approval?
If it's not substantially changing and it's something that's compliant to the building design, I don't think staff would have. We would not kick it back to the design review board for something that
Very
minor.
good. Given that that material is being used already in the building, given that it's only a partial block, I submit to you that it is non-substantial. But, of course, at the end of the day, it's your decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think we're all heading the same way. Very good. All right.
I have one question. So with this request, do we have to add this as a condition, or do we just let the applicant and neighbor work this out together?
That's up to you. You can add it as a condition just to add an extra level of protection to make sure it happens.
So the promise could be a condition.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so the promise that the client or the applicant is making could be part of it?
Yes, agreed upon.
Yeah, absolutely. But actually, what Chairman Nukian brought up, I think it makes a whole lot more sense. If there is the possibility, and you may want to jot this down, if there is the possibility to continue the oblique fencing, right?
Opaque.
The opaque fencing, then that's what we would like to see it happen, because that will give total privacy to them
Permanently.
permanently.
And and applicant's representative was made mention of that.
Yeah.
They're cognizant of the fact that the plants may not grow and so on and so forth, but the opaque paneling would provide both their ultimate property owners as well as the neighbor with complete privacy,
Provided the city okays it.
provided the
change.
city okays it.
If the city doesn't okay it, then part of that condition should be, then we revert back to the planters and larger plants. Right? So I'm ready to make a motion.
I'm ready to entertain a motion.
Should we just, sorry, should we just, I know there's other members in the audience, should we just make sure, just because they may have walked in without a speaker card, just to make sure they're given their fair chance to speak?
We will, but first we go to,
To clarify, to make sure I heard you right, if the applicant shall construct opaque fencing adjacent to the east side planter.
as a continuation of the already in place opaque paneling on the property. Should that not, okay, continue writing. Should that not be feasible, applicant will use taller shrubbery than that which has been applied for in the 48-inch planters.
Her neighbor is on east side when we look at from the Elk.
Oh, so it's the west side of your project?
Right. For when I look at from Elk Street, my project, her building is on
The left side.
Left side,
which
yeah.
is the east side. Now, how about one on the west side?
What's on the west
Do
side?
we need to make same changes to the
What's on the west side?
same? It's the same raw irons,
It's another single-family dwelling.
right?
And that's the part that you can handle with staff, right?
Yes. I just want to.
We'll work out with the applicant on a material that's still compliant with the design of the building, that staff feels that's still in with the boundaries of the design review board's approval, and make sure that the material and the design will satisfy and mitigate the concerns of the person that spoke at today's meeting, and we can move forward there. So as part of the condition, before we get an approval and get a document that can be recorded, we'll make sure that the building permit is amended with the material that's to the satisfactory of the urban designer and staff, and we can proceed that way.
Thank you.
All right. Happy.
So in actuality, there will be 32 conditions, whichever way you look at it,
Or
Right.
32 conditions.
right? As opposed to 31.
Yes.
So we will, I am ready to move the approval of, after considering this tentative track number 74.
Excuse me, Commissioner.
I think there was a request to ask if there was
Okay.
anyone
Oh,
else that wanted
sure.
to speak.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this?
On this
this matter, no.
on this property, on this subject.
Not hearing anyone? Please proceed, Commissioner.
So I move for approval that upon consideration of tentative track map 74370, and after reviewing the records, files, reports, and all documentary evidence submitted with regard to said tentative track, that tentative track number 74370 is hereby approved, subject to compliance with the State Subdivision Map Act, Chapter 16.16, 16.24, Title 16 of the Glendale Municipal Code, Title 30 of the Glendale Municipal Code, and 32 additional conditions, one being added tonight at this proceeding, as listed below.
second that.
Roll call, please.
Planning Commissioners Astorian,
Yes.
Shabazian,
Yes.
and Chairperson Manukian.
Aye. Very good. So now we move to Community Development Department updates. Do we have any?
We don't have any updates.
Do we have any comments from the commissioners?
None.
I do. I want to say something. That was a great example of teamwork right there. With that, can we adjourn?
So moved.